Karen Pence has an explanation. Speaking of people just being complete fucking idiots about this. Played it yesterday. Mike Pence was at the Mayo Clinic. He wasn't wearing a mask. I think, like, in general, I mean, obviously we look forward to a day where walking around the neighborhood, you're not going to wear a mask. But I think the cultural practice that has emerged in Asia, I mean, I'm certainly never going to fly without a mask on. 100%.
Maybe not even go to a movie.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like, it is going to be more part of our lives. And you know, it was interesting. I was talking to somebody about that, actually, who had traveled to Asia a year ago. And they were like, yeah, you know, I didn't really think about it one way or another, but my just sort of bias or idea was that, you know, people wear masks to protect themselves. You know, didn't have any judgment about it. Fair enough, you know. But she was saying it's actually like, no, in this context, it's you're doing it for other people. Same reason we're prescribed to do it. It's actually considered just proper social etiquette for other people's well-being, that you wear a mask in mass public transport or flying on airplanes or whatever. And I mean, look, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's one of those things that you just think, like, why haven't we incorporated this practice for flying before? It's so obvious. And part of the obvious, you know, yeah.
I was just going to say, like, in the times we've flown for TMBS live shows, almost every time I fly, like, I feel like I come down with something. And then if you look at the graphics of how germs spread through planes, I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense, actually.
Whole lot of sense. And
I mean, it's kind of a mind fuck for me, because there is something very kind of individualizing or neoliberal even about saying the onus is on the individual to do their part, wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. But when that rises to the level of culture, and you can change the culture of a society and convince people to care for others, that is the opposite of neoliberalism.
Totally. And that's what Pence is failing to do. And that's why he didn't wear the mask, is because he doesn't want to send that cultural signal that we should be wearing masks, because that's cuck stuff or whatever the right wing thinks about it.
No, I mean, this stuff is, I mean, this is like when people started to, you know, political leaders would take an AIDS test. Like, that was a signal, like, you can't relegate this, or you can't have homophobia dictate how you look at this disease. So yeah, it's really important. I would actually just say, like, look, again, I think another dialectic is obviously individual and social, and both things are real. The real neoliberal problem and the real despicable thing we saw in New York was Andrew Cuomo saying everybody needs to do it. And you're like, okay, Andrew,
right? How
are we getting it to everybody?
Exactly.
That is the and by the way, the other structural problem is, look, we should wear these things on planes, no doubt. I also have no doubt that the airline industry is cuts corners and is disgusting and totally doesn't properly clean things. So that's another thing that we need to look at regulatorily as well. But this is,
Can I just preface, I want to say before about this Pence clip, I can't remember her name, Mrs.
Karen Pence.
Karen Pence.
Mother.
Just know that she's lying. I think it's more interesting to watch a liar when you know that they're lying. So just know that she's lying about this because the Mayo Clinic told them beforehand that masks are protocol. I mean, fucking obviously, right? It's a hospital.
They just deleted the tweet where they said that they told them.
So just that's important context. Know that this good Christian woman who follows Mike Pence to every dinner meeting he has with another woman, right? This whatever they're
or so they claim.
Yeah, she's
they
a liar.
They are a couple of liars.
She is a liar. Like, she's lying Karen. Oh,
lying Karen.
Lying Karen.
Ooh.
Lying mother. Lying mother.
To that, I do have to ask you about your husband not wearing the mask when he was touring the Mayo Clinic. Why wasn't he wearing one?
That's a great question. I'm glad that you asked me. First of all, it was a great visit to Mayo. They're doing amazing research with the blood from recovering COVID-19 patients. And as our medical experts have told us, wearing a mask prevents you from spreading the disease. And knowing that he doesn't have COVID-19. He didn't wear one. It was actually after he left Mayo Clinic that he found out that they had a policy of asking everyone to wear a mask. So, someone who's worked on this this whole task force for over 2 months is not someone who would have done anything to offend anyone or hurt anyone or scare anyone. So I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to talk about that.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, who he didn't want to offend was Republicans who think masks are lame.
Yeah,
exactly. There was one specific group you didn't want to offend. The masks are for pussies contingent. Yes, exactly.
Showing strength.
Yes, and we will put people's health and well-being at risk. I mean, it's also just visually, it is so. I understand. I think actually, I mean, visually, they wanted to register as he's so fucking strong that look at all these other people, including security people, wearing it, but it just looks ridiculous. Yeah. It looks like a 12-year-old who's like insisting on not wearing his seatbelt. Yeah, it's like, okay, Mike, we get it. Whatever.
Wait, do you
Stop being
remember
a fucking idiot?
Hold on, I need to bring this picture into the. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I think a lot of people might remember this photo of Mike Pence's trip to NASA. If not, here, let me just share the screen in 2 seconds.
He did not wear a space helmet.
And here's what it looks like. It's a critical space flight.
Do not touch.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's so alpha, man.
Yeah, add it to the pantheon. Also, like Trump staring directly into the sun.
Directly into the sun, yeah.
Well, it was cool when he did that.
First of all,
that was actually
also have
cool.
Done that. I've done that exactly. I think I did that day, even after Trump did it. But
wow.
You got to be able to see some of it, right?
You want to prove that? You want to prove that you're tougher than Trump?
I'm like, I want to know. I mean, how many times can you say like I can experience something the president of the United States experienced earlier today? Which is my retinas being
wow. That's quite the flex, Matt.
Apparently, Pence wore a mask today, 4 minutes ago, at another
lame
rhino,
globalist cock.
What a rhino,
soy boy,
rhino, soy boy, globalist cock,
covering up his rhino horn, probably.
Why don't you have a lunch of tofu with that?
Some French fries.
All right.